Let me try that. There you go. All right, I did that. So, all right. Yep. So welcome. We're so glad to have you. This is our first, 2025 is the first year that we have started having our connects, and we really appreciate you guys jumping on board and joining us and participating. So I think it makes a difference. It makes a difference for me. So thank you. So today we're going to just go through a few announcements. Then we'll have Kay give us our presentation, and then we'll have a group discussion if we have some time. So the first one that's the most important, I think, is congratulations to our new AG professionals. Um, First up is Jenny Irwin, and she just accredited in the Mid-Atlantic states, and Kim Jenkins, and she just joined us from, or not joined us, she accredited in the England area. So let's see, Jenny, are you with us? Did I see Jenny?
I am. Hello.
Hi, Jenny. Do you want to tell us about where you live and why you chose Mid-Atlantic, perhaps?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Jenny, and I chose Mid-Atlantic because that's where I do most of my research. I live outside of outside of Albany, New York. I know it's a great place if you ever want to visit. I'm just teasing. It's not that bad. Um, and I do a lot of work with New York brick walls, Pennsylvania, New Jersey in particular, and New York City. And I also do a lot of probate work for attorneys. So I'm really excited to be here and thank you.
Hey, well, we're thrilled to have you. Thank you for being part of our community and working so hard to become accredited. That is not easy to do. So thank you. And Kim, did I see Kim join?
I am. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hi, Kim. Welcome.
Hi.
Where are you from
Thank
and why
you.
England?
Well, where I'm from, that's a loaded question. I
Oh,
currently live in Mapleton, Utah, which is just a little south of Provo. We have spent the last 3 years kind of in transition, moving from the south. And so I'm glad to be put and glad to have my accreditation. I chose England because I am the first person in my dad's line that is born in the United States, and my mom's lines didn't come over until the late 1800s. So I'm about as English as you can get. Oh, that's where I started, and so that's where I'm the most comfortable. I do U.S. research as well as the rest of the British Isles, but that's where I'm the most comfortable. So if we're going to test, let's test where we're comfortable.
yeah, that makes a difference, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does.
Congratulations. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us. We're thrilled to have you. All right. The next one that we want to talk about is our renewals. Milan, let's see, Milan Pohanch. And I don't think Milan is with us because if so, I would ask him to pronounce his name for us. But Milan renewed in Germany, Nikki Smith renewed in the Great Lakes area, and Susan renewed in the Pacific area. And some of those are the grandfathered in areas that we used to have. They have changed, but since they accredited before the change, they re-accredited in that same area. So that's why those areas might sound a little different. So congratulations to the renewals as well. Also, we want to congratulate our newest board commissioners that they include Kelly Summers and Jerry Auerbach, and they get to serve a 3-year term. Thank you for being willing to serve, and thank you for helping to guide our organization so that we can all become better. So we appreciate that. And thank you, by the way, thank you for everyone who voted. That makes also a huge difference. So thank you. So we're going to go through our regular announcements again quickly. Please send in your ideas for your Connect topics. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a great idea, if you have a great something you're doing, share it with us. We want to hear about it so we can share it with everyone else. Um, and Facebook group, again, it's a private community, so you'll need to email us at the community at ICAPGen.org to join us, and we'll send an invite to you. And these things will all be in the notes in the chat. Thank you. So if you need that chat, it's down there, and also the Pumble chat. Um, please join our group. We're trying to keep that. We try to keep that going, and our admins are Laurie and Naomi, and you can email either one of them and they will get you set up right away. So, um, January is our next ICAPGen Connect because we're taking December off because I we predict that many of you will as well. So this is the last one for 2025. We'll resume in 2026 on January 20th, and it's at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And we will be having Barb Graf talk about, you can see the title, it says Buried in Research. Notebook LM makes helps you make sense of what you've already found. And if you don't know what Notebook LM is, and I didn't either, it's AI, and it's actually a research and note-taking tool that helps users understand and organize information from their own sources. So she's done some really exciting work with that, and I very much look forward to hearing from her. So please put that on your calendars, January 20th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and we'd love to have you. All right, so now we're going to be listening to Kay, and she's going to talk about side hustle or career opportunity, how she's a Lineage Society consultant. So without further ado, let me stop sharing my screen. And Kay, you're welcome to take it away.
Thank you, Marianne. Let's see here. Okay, can everyone see that?
Looks good.
Let's see. Hang on just a second. I'm going to reshare. I didn't like how that one was. Okay, let me see. Can you see my screen, or is it presenter view?
It's presenter view.
Okay, let's go back. I'm trying to choose the right window that I have open. Let's see. That's so strange. Let's see. Is it still showing presenter view?
No, but
Okay.
your title's missing now, but if you've got
Okay.
it, if you have to click to show it, you're probably okay.
Let's see. There we go. Does that look better?
That looks beautiful.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thanks, Marianne. First of all, I do need to note that I'm just an AG. I'm not an AGL yet. So maybe in the future. Hello and welcome to this month's ICAPGen Connect. And before we begin, I would like to thank the Community Connections Committee for asking me to speak today. My name is Kay Ford, and I'm an accredited genealogist professional in the Great Lakes region. I'm located in East Central Indiana. I have been researching my family history in earnest since 2003 and studying to become a professional genealogist since 2013. I earned my accreditation in the Great Lakes region in 2024. I have been a member of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution since 2015 and my chapter's registrar for the past 6 years. As of today, I'm working on 8 different applications for my chapter, and I'm also training the new registrar. So over the course of that time, I realized that working on Lineage Society applications could be a lucrative genealogical niche. I'm also a member of the Society of Indiana Pioneers and the Society of Civil War Families of Indiana. Some very well-known lineage societies include the following: the General Society of Mayflower Descendants, Society of Descendants of Washington's Army at Valley Forge, the General Society Sons of the Revolution, the National Society of the Sons of the American Revolution, and the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution. And here are just a few examples of the various lineage societies that exist in the US. Some may be familiar, some are not so familiar. Lineage societies can be found nearly everywhere. There are state societies, national societies, international societies, societies for a specific occupation, descendants of a specific person, societies by historic organization, and the list just goes on and on. And here are a few of the international lineage societies. Some lineage societies have few restrictions to joining. For other societies, you must be invited to apply. And as a disclaimer, when I'm working on DAR applications for women who want to join my chapter, I do that on a volunteer basis. But I have helped fellows with their SAR applications and other ladies interested in joining DAR in other states, and I do charge for that assistance. So where can you find lineage societies? On this website, the Hereditary Society Community of the United States of America, you can find an alphabetical list of societies or search for them by subject grouping. Cindy's list has a robust selection of lineage societies grouped by category. And you may also do a Google search to see if a hereditary society exists that fits your needs. But some people are very motivated in wanting to join a specific lineage society. They may want to be more involved in the service aspect, helping others in a joint effort. Lineage, recognize and save their ancestors' history. Immersive, experience hands-on history through reenacting. Or prestigious, earning the regalia, the pins and the medals. Today, we'll focus on helping others join lineage societies, but you could also work for larger societies to review incoming applications. Professional genealogists are perfect for lineage society work. So how this usually comes about. Someone is interested in joining a specific lineage society. They've seen ancestors in their family tree who may qualify, but they have no idea how to make the official connection from generation to generation. They don't know where to look, what questions to ask, or how to analyze and correlate information they do find. Lineage societies typically have volunteer registrars who can help to a certain degree. When the research gets challenging, this is where we come in. So say hello to Holly. She's interested in joining the Jamestown Society because she saw the emblem attached to her ancestor on someone else's family tree on Ancestry. She scratched the surface regarding the society. She received an invitation to apply and is now overwhelmed by the documentation she needs to prove her lineage. Enter the accredited genealogist professional. So proving the parent-child relationships for direct lineage. This stumps the average person new to family history, finding documents that prove relationships before birth and death certificates were mandated by counties and states. A good number of people have documentation relating to their own birth and marriage, as well as for their parents, but it tends to get more difficult the further back one goes. Have you ever met someone who couldn't tell you when their grandparents were married? Our skills come into play by knowing where to find difficult to document parent-to-child lineage. At the courthouse, in a number of various records, in the newspapers, in a multitude of articles and human interest stories. So, analyzing various record types to prove relationships. Utilizing another professional genealogical skill, analysis, helps complete lineage society applications. Right now, I have a case where I need to prove a father-son relationship, and I'm not finding any direct evidence. Sometimes multiple pieces of indirect evidence need to be pieced together to explain the connection. These have different names and different societies, but basically boil down to writing a proof argument. So was Henry the father of John? John's younger sister was documented to be Henry's daughter. Henry's first wife died 2 years before John's younger sister was born. Or died 2 years after. I don't know. Did I say before? 2 years after his sister was born. John's younger sister and her husband both died young, leaving minor children. John became the guardian of his nieces and nephews, noted in a guardianship record. So this is just a very brief overview of where I've found evidence that ties the family together, but it still hinges on more conclusive evidence, such as was Henry's wife the mother to both John and his sister. I'm still working on that. Creating source citations for applications using society-specific guidelines. This is probably the number one item that strikes fear in most Lineage Society applicants. For whatever reason, Lineage societies seem to want to reinvent the wheel when it comes to source citations, as well as formatting the application. This small paragraph appears at the top of the References for Lineage page of the DAR application. Note what they consider a complete citation for documents found on the internet. That's quite a bit different than what we use in our reports. Along with learning about a society-specific style guide for formatting and citations, be prepared to learn about the society itself. But hey, we all like to learn new things, right? Knowing where to look for unique record sets to determine lineage. Not just where to look online, but offline as well. As we discussed earlier, the courthouse, also the library or archives, with just a couple shown here, including my home turf of Indiana. And we know all about the treasures found in historical and genealogical societies. Remember Holly, our prospective Lineage Society member? Our AG hero worked hard on Holly's Jamestown Society application, and she now proudly wears her pin and moves forward with her goal of being a member of a Lineage Society. So consider turning your well-studied and practiced professional genealogical skills toward assisting others with their dream of joining a Lineage Society special to them. Some considerations of being a Lineage Society consultant. You will need to talk about sensitive subjects with whom you're working, such as divorce records, death records, and fees. And that's fees for the society and fees for yourself. Have your expectations outlined in a contract. Sometimes the documentation just is not there. Talk to the applicant about using another ancestor or pivoting to an entirely different lineage society, such as going from the DAR SAR to the UELAC, the United Empire Loyalist Association of Canada. Find out about the society's stance on adoption and gender, topics about which you may need to help explain to the applicant. And you need to be flexible with the style guides on one hand and laser focused on formatting details on the other hand. Finally, I would be remiss if I did not mention my fellow AG professional, Dr. Kimberly Nagy's excellent read about lineage societies. This book goes from what is a lineage society to completing your application. A terrific book. And you can find this on Amazon. So do you think you'd like to help others with lineage societies or lineage society applications or review them for the societies? As a side gig, it could give you a break from writing research reports. As a career, filling out applications full-time is a very special skill set. So thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Yes, Kay, I've never done this before. I've had people ask me, I just haven't got into it, but I'm wondering, are you saying that most of the applications are just like document based? There's not like a full report? Like when you have to write a proof argument, how do you actually turn it in? I've seen the DAR and I'm just curious. Are they all different or similar?
I They're similar, but they all have their differences. The DAR has a template that you can use for, and they call it an analysis. And I've heard of other societies, they call them narratives, when you have to describe these pieces of indirect evidence that work together to make your case.
Okay.
So they, for the most part, the larger societies, I think, are on board with fillable applications and templates, and I think that one slide, DAR has 3 volumes of guidelines to filling out your application. So they
Okay.
go into great depth.
So, second question, are most of the lineage societies you're just tying into a known person that's been accepted, like the DAR, or do you need to tie back to, the incident or?
Um, the DAR has a database, and the SAR does too, of proven ancestors, proven patriots that other people have used. They are still accepting new patriots. You have to be able to prove their service and their residence and your lineage directly back to them.
Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm going to share my screen again if that's all right with you guys, because I have a couple of questions that I think in general we would like to discuss, but please keep asking other questions. And while I share my screen, Lisa would like to know, how do you find most of your clients and how do you advertise?
Um, that they usually, it's like word of mouth, I guess. And I work at a historical society, and I will have people contact me there looking for information about their ancestors in Indiana. Um, and these people are usually from out of state. If I have to, if we don't have what they need at the historical society, I offer my services to them to run to the courthouse or the library, wherever they need me to go.
Okay, very good. Bonnie has a question for you.
Sure.
For Mayflower, as you know, I do a lot of Mayflower. And if there is a change or correction that needs to happen within the lineage, especially with the silver books, because some of them are wrong, I made a procedure, and I'd be happy to share it in the chat to show everybody exactly what's needed if you need to change a line and what's required. And I'm happy to put it in the chat if you want it.
That'd be great.
Please do. Yeah, we would.
Mhm.
Yeah, very good. So as far as working and advertising your services, Laurie put in the chat that my company doesn't do lineage applications per se, but have supported many of them with local record expertise. So it sounds like there's lots of entry points from being a full-time Lineage Society consultant to supporting others, or like the UK, our word of mouth. So it looks like there's lots of approaches and ways to do that. So that's amazing.
Yep.
It looks
Thanks.
it looks like the chat is disabled. I can't put anything in the chat.
Oh, I think Lori's going to help me with that because she's my tech gal at the moment.
It's working fine for me, so hang on.
I was going to say it's looking like it's okay for me. I don't know what's going on. So I'm curious, what other genealogical societies have all of you worked with? And does there seem to just be a steady flow of people who want to join these genealogical or these societies, or um, like how do we connect the people who are looking for this again with genealogists? But I'm just curious because I know there are tons and tons of them. So obviously Bonnie works with the Mayflower Society, but what are the
And
other ones?
with America 250 on the horizon,
Mhm.
they do expect an uptick in Revolutionary War period hereditary societies. And if you have an ancestor who was a loyalist, I mean, they have societies for that, for the loyalists too.
True, they do.
Mhm.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I work with, I'm also a DAR chapter registrar. And I also, my daughter and I are in charge of the local CAR, Children in the American Revolution, society in our area. So I do a lot of applications on that. I've done some SAR, and I did one Mayflower for as a subcontractor. So those are the main ones that I do.
And each, again, Kay mentioned this, and many of you have, but each unique society has their own requirements. I suspect that many of them are very similar, obviously, but how do you find the unique requirements of these societies? I assume they're all on the websites that they have, but it's stunning that the DAR has 3 volumes, as in that's incredible. So how do you navigate 3 volumes of how to apply versus, okay, this is really how it gets done? Does that make sense?
The DAR, the registrar, the chapter registrar has access to those volumes and all the information contained within. Really, until you start the application process, that's when you find out about how to connect your generations. So the applicant is mainly responsible for their own generation and their parents and their grandparents. And then, like Jill and I, we take over from the 4th generation back to the patriot.
Very good. All right. And so that's pretty much, I assume that that's how most of the societies work, right? Is that parent to child relationship, obviously, with documentation that works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. And so what's your best, where do you find your most unique record sets that are valuable in your case, Kay?
Let's see. I did find a really interesting divorce record from the 1840s in another county in Indiana, and they had their library, their county public library had that collection, and that was what I needed to connect this lady's whatever generation it was. So libraries, my museum, historical society, what we have is not online, and we have a lot that is not online. Let's see, and archives. I found some interesting probate information in an estate file in Butler County, Ohio. It wasn't enough to connect the generations. They wanted DAR wanted 1811, and the receipt I found was from 1815. So, wow. I mean, that's going back a ways. It still wasn't enough.
Wow, that's amazing. They missed it by that much.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any other unique places where they've found a treasure trove of records that have helped that maybe we overlook sometimes?
Well, if I've got a suspected patriot that hasn't been proven yet and comes out of the South, there's a website called Southern Campaigns Revolutionary War Pension Statements and Rosters. And it's a bunch of volunteers headed by this one guy, and they have transcribed pension records. And so you can go there and search by name to kind of decide if this is your guy or not. And then they always list the pension number. And then you can go to fold 3 to find the actual images.
That's amazing.
But it's just helpful because wading through the handwritten page after page after page can be fatiguing. So to be able to find this and then quickly pull it up and do a find, on certain words to see if that's your guy is very helpful.
That's interesting. That's
That's
fascinating.
terrific.
It's revwarapps.org. It's got a short URL.
Rev or apps as in applications, right?
Yeah, APPS .org.
.org. Wow, that is a great resource. Anyone else have anything that they'd like to share with that?
You want to prove a French Canadian patriot, Deb Douillet, it's Duay. There is French Canadians who never came to the United States, but provided some assistance to the American cause. And if you type in Google Deb Douillet and French Canadian, it gives a whole list of people. There's like 350 of them. And if you have a French Canadian patriot, you're probably able to, for any of you who've done French Canadian genealogy, they're great because every record lists a maiden name. But I was able to prove my mother's French Canadian patriot for her. But the Deb Douillet French Canadian list is great.
Yeah, she's also got regular, I don't know if it's the same site, offshoot or what, but she's also got American Patriots and lots of record. You can search by records or state to drill down it. Those are most like service sources, is what she has.
Okay, and it's Deb Douillet, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing.
Duay. She's done a lot of work to get records up for us to be able to find.
That's amazing. That I love people that do that on their own. Yeah, just because they want to. That's amazing.
Well, Jolene Mullen has two books, I think, for Connecticut, where she has gone through all the county minutes and pulled out every guy's name and service for like civil and patriotic service.
Wow. That's
So
amazing.
if he's a tithing man, if he was a fence viewer, whatever it was, then she's got them listed. It's broken out like A through L for town names and then N through Z. So I think it's just 2.
There's also a link on the GSMD site called Patriot to Passenger. So it lists proven Revolutionary War patriots, and it'll lead you back to the Mayflower passenger. So you can find it on the GSMD website as well.
That's amazing. Wow. Any other great ideas? Because those are amazing. Michelle? Or yeah, do you have?
Oh, no worries. You guys can see the chat. So just a little tech thing here. You guys can see the chat because you're co-hosts and hosts. If you want to click on the 3 dots in the chat window, you can change the accessibility there so the rest of us can use the chat.
How about that? Did that work?
Yep, you opened it for everybody. So anybody who wants to share can now share.
Oh, thank you. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Thanks for
You're welcome.
And Lori, did you have something?
I had a question for Kay and for Jill, who are experienced registrars. So when my company has been asked by either individuals or maybe lineage specialists to work on finding records locally, often it's Ohio expertise. So, can you find some kind of evidence that, a woman is the daughter of this man? That kind of question. And, we're always looking for direct evidence. We're always told about the direct evidence piece. Can you talk a little bit about, what and sometimes we can't find the direct evidence. And then my understanding is there can be only so many proof summaries in an application. Can you talk a little bit about the need for direct evidence and proof summaries, and are they usable? Because sometimes we can get them there, but it's not going to be a direct record, even if we look under every rock and try to find something. I'd love to hear more about that from other perspectives.
The DAR application, you can submit one analysis on one generation per application.
Wow.
Yeah, just one total.
Just one total.
Yeah, for one parent-child link.
Yeah.
Okay. So then is the scenario then that you would, if you were a lineage specialist, then you would start being strategic and looking at other lines to try to find one that's more easy to prove?
The
I've
DA,
done that.
yeah, the DA wants you, us as registrars, to use the easiest path. But you as a professional, you can do that or not, but it's in your favor to use the easiest one that's
Mhm.
proven.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you think you've got a couple generations, you're not going to be able to get proven, you're going to have to look elsewhere, because like you can only use one analysis, as DAR calls them, per application. So you still need proof for that other one. And Kay had mentioned the template that they have for their analysis, and it's 1 page.
I've
But
seen
you
it.
don't have to use it. They want you to, just because it helps the genealogist be able to get through the application quicker. They say that they only give them 2 hours to prove an application. They often go over that because it's just, people inundate them with paper. But that's just the guideline they use is 2 hours. So you can certainly use, as many documents as you need to get it done for your analysis, but you should be as succinct as possible also.
Okay, thank you.
What other questions do we have? Anyone?
Also on the DAR site, there's what's called the GRS, and these are records that DAR members have gathered in their own societies. And this goes way back to even the 30s when the WAPA, when they were doing census surveys, going out and walking the cemetery, walking the cemetery and writing down all the headstone information. So you can find stuff like that, copies of old Bibles, transcribed. The newer ones will actually have images of those Bibles, and you can search by surname and by state. So that's quite helpful for finding these Bibles that are in private hands or were, and now the disposition's unknown.
Interesting. That's fascinating. So Andre says, please, pro tip, make sure you find out the preferences of the local registrars. Sometimes they're stricter or particular than the national organization. So we've got a couple of you right here. Why is that? Why are your preferences maybe more strict than the national organization?
I'd say lack of training.
Okay.
I follow their guidelines.
Let's see.
Yeah, but I've run into a lot of registrars that say, no, you have to submit birth certificate, death certificate, marriage certificate.
Okay.
DAR makes you do that. No, they don't. They request it. They prefer it. But you can use an obituary as long as it has all the pertinent information: birth, marriage, death, and parents. But
And
you'll
marriage-
run into registrars who are old school that say, nope, I want a death certificate. And I feel sorry for the prospective members because they're out money when they don't have to be.
Okay. If I can speak, let's see. I did a project once that involved an SIA project, and it just went horribly off the rails when this local register demanded a lot of extra stuff, and we refused to process the application. Like we just had, like I was working with I was working with in a larger company, um, with a team of people, and it just really it ruined it. It's like I did everything properly. I looked up all the rules and filled out their application exactly, followed all their guidelines, and it's like, nope, it turns out they need all this additional documentation. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's not what the website said.
Yeah. And I'm sure Kay has heard horror stories like that also.
So is there
Like,
any recourse in that situation? Can you contact someone at the national organization to ask the question? Can you do that?
Yep. I would go to the state registrar.
State.
it was the state register that did
Okay.
that to us.
Well, then I would have gone to national, or I would go into another state nearby and see if you can get a more sympathetic registrar and join that society, or go member at large, and that, well, that has to go through a state registrar. Join the other state at member at large and then transfer into the local society later.
Well, that would have been good to know, like several months ago when I did that. But back then, everybody we were working with didn't know. The pretend I worked with this register before, or yeah. Anyways, so
That's interesting that some registrars say you must have birth, marriage, and death.
Yeah.
When marriage, not everyone was married when they had children.
Yeah. And the DAR recognized that, and that's probably changed in the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
well, it was
At the most, maybe, that they don't require marriage certificates now. They like them if they can get them, but you do absolutely have to prove that your child is the product of those two people, though.
Mm-hmm.
So if the husband,
you have to show that,
supposed father's over in Montana and the mother's here in Idaho, they're going to say, well, how do you've got to have proof.
You have to show that they were together.
Yeah.
But then there was like SARs, like they don't seem to have as much emphasis on proving like as long as you're able to follow the line linearly from parent to parent, that results from the patriot down to your applicant. That was the impression we were under. So, having to prove like the marriage relationships, that seemed to be optional information. Nice to have. Nice if you had a document for, but it was basically generational proving.
Yeah. Okay. What have you run into with SAR? Or have you done?
Let's see. I worked on an application for a gentleman, and I had to write a narrative for that for one generation because there was just no direct evidence of this father-son connection. And I work with the SAR right now. We're doing lineage societies, lineage workshops every month together. So I pick up a few things every now and again about SAR and what's happening there. I don't know. I'll have to ask the registrar.
Yeah, they are more lax than the DAR.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually use a DAR verified application as part of the application for SAR. But that's not reciprocal. DAR will not accept an SAR application because they are lax. I mean, they didn't even really want the wife's information when I was going through one and it was all mail to mail to mail to mail. They didn't care if they even got any wife information. I'm like, what? Oh, this is the right people then. I was flabbergasted. That was probably 8 years ago, 7. So
that is amazing. It seems to me that women are critical in having sons. So anyway, for a man, anyway.
we wouldn't have any without us. So.
Correct. So Jamie asked, are there any societies allowing DNA evidence? And Kay, you put in there that DAR does. Mayflower takes, and Bonnie, thank you. Mayflower takes DNA within a specific criteria. First 3 generations for ATDNA. Any others? Does anyone know anyone else? Any other societies that use DNA?
DAR, just to clarify, they accept Y-DNA and autosomal DNA. I haven't had to use DNA yet.
Yeah,
I think SAR does too, don't they?
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't done an SAR application with that.
Since they're all male to male to male, you
Yeah.
would think Y-DNA.
Well, they're not always male to male, but
Yeah.
most of them are. The DAR is only first 3 generations also for autosomal. And then the Y-DNA, you have to have a proven all male descendancy line already established with an application using documentary. And then your prospective member has to provide Y-DNA test for somebody in her family, brother, uncle, whatever, that goes through at least part of that male lineage. It can be through one of the sons and then come down or something, but you still have to prove it.
Yeah, but so in every case, you're going against someone that's already been accepted. You're tying that client to an already approved application. Okay.
Right.
And no other conflicts in the line either. So you're proving, is it still the same where you're just proving a new child of the already proven patriot? And there can't be any conflicts, and you have to bring the other line up to standard. So if it was an older line with the proven patriot going down, think of it like a pyramid, and you're proving this part of it, you have to bring everything up to standard too. And there can't be any analysis or proof arguments on any part of that line if you're using DNA.
Okay.
For Y-DNA. It's more
good to know.
Interesting. Lisa, do you have a question?
It's not a question, it's just a comment. And this goes along with DNA, but in the opposite direction. So I was doing my DAR application, and the person that was helping me didn't think to ask me if I knew that there was a DNA problem in the line. And it was my maiden name line, and I did know that there was a problem, and I did all the work and then went to sign the form, and it said, you know that there is no DNA, or that there's no biological break in this line, or however they word it. And it was like a punch in the gut. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm not doing my application on my maiden name line because there is a break in my DNA there. And so just something to be aware about. So I picked a different line. I found a different one, but I was kind of sad.
Yeah, because Lisa and I would have been related on that line.
Yep.
We
Well,
found
we're
that out at
related, kind of, but not biologically, because I have a break in mine. So, yeah.
And before we all leave, I want to give a shout out to Yvonne Fenster. She's our new DAR member, not my chapter, but she's a new society member. So, hey, Yvonne.
Thank you, Jill. Yeah, I was inducted on Monday. And my application was initially denied because my mother was born 14 years before her parents married. So I had to write a little proof argument showing that she was their daughter and wasn't adopted.
That's interesting. Wow.
So,
yeah, she did not know until her father died. My mother was an adult before she knew that. She was in her 60s.
oh, wow.
She didn't know her parents never married till she was 14.
Wow. Well, that goes back to Kate's point of be ready to have some difficult conversations, right? That sounds like a great example of, wow, you never knew until you knew, right? It's amazing. Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Anything?
Yeah, I have something, Marianne. So we have on the call are Michelle Chabenko and Melanie Marsh, and they have just done some amazing work to get our ICAPGen blog for lack of a better word, resurrected. And so they're busy getting blog posts ready. So I'm going to put the blog link in the chat. It's just you type in icapgen.blog. And so please check out our blog if you're not already subscribed, since it's kind of been dormant for 3 or 4 years, you might not be. And so look for the subscribe button and subscribe so you get our blog posts. We'll have everything in there from stuff for prospective AG professionals to announcements about ICAPGen. This is going to be our big announcement page. So thank you, Michelle. And thank you, Melanie. Is there anything else you guys would want to add to that?
No, I think that covers it. Please subscribe, please subscribe, please subscribe.
Okay. And if you're willing to write an article, please let us know. And we'd love to have you on our list to write articles.
Very good. Sounds great. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that up. That's our to-do after today's Connect. Everybody go subscribe. All right. If there's nothing else, I think we're good to go. Thank you, Kay. So
Good job,
thank you
Kay.
so much
Thank you.
for the
Okay.
presentation. And for everyone for your expertise and experience. We really appreciate it. So have great holidays, and we'll see you again on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, right? Yep, Tuesday on the 20th of January. And we can look forward to seeing from you. Everybody take care and stay safe. Happy holidays.
Good
See
job,
you.
Kay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.